pain. For the most part, that is the number one thing women in my childbirth preparation classes want to know about. Is it gonna hurt? How much is it going to hurt? And how can I make it hurt less? So these are my top 10 tips for how to minimize pain during childbirth. I am a huge a huge wuss when it comes to pain. I thought I would definitely break down and get an epidural during childbirth, which I don't judge any woman who does. I totally get it. But these tips actually helped me and minimized my pain during childbirth enough where shockingly I didn't need an epidural. It's also helped many of my doula clients move through labor. So they're pretty effective. That's not to say that each and every tip is gonna work great for each woman, but I definitely recommend trying out the different techniques, seeing what works for you. Even if there's only 2 or 3 that minimize your pain, that's a win in my book. Okay, so number 1 is breathing. If that's the only thing you take away from this video, then great. It will help you significantly. So there's all sorts of types of breathing techniques for labor, and essentially as long as you're taking in long, slow breaths and you're not hyperventilating, you're doing a great job. But one of my favorite breathing techniques is actually before you're well into the contraction, when you start to feel the rumblings of a contraction, it starts to feel like a cramp is coming on. Trust me, you'll get to know the feeling. You want to start to do this breathing technique right away so you kind of get ahead of the pain. And so essentially I recommend closing your eyes and you take a long, slow inhalation through your nose and you just envision inflating a balloon in your belly, inflating it all the way. When it's totally inflated, then you very slowly exhale through your nose, and when that balloon is fully deflated, you immediately start inflating it again. And when you first start moving into active labor where the contractions are more painful, you might get to this point where you like hit a wall, where you feel like, okay, if I keep expanding my abdomen, I'm just gonna burst and I'm gonna be in so much more pain. And our mind tricks us into believing this. And so we start to hold our breath and think that that's gonna minimize the pain, but holding our breath and contracting actually creates more pain. So if you can just force yourself to bust through that wall by continuing to expand your abdomen and continuing to breathe in, you will actually bust through that pain and it usually will be significantly minimized. So if in doubt, if it's the only thing you do during labor, just keep breathing and start doing that deep breathing before the surge is really escalating so you can get ahead of it. And then in between surges, just lay back, relax, get really comfortable. Just do deep, easy breaths because this is your time to build up your energy before the next contraction or surge starts. Okay, number 2, deep pressure in your lower back. So for most women, their lower back, having somebody press their palm or even like a tennis ball into their lower back creates immediate relief. It feels so good. For whatever reason, I didn't have my husband do this until I was already like 8 centimeters, and when he did it, I like got goosebumps. It felt amazing, and it was so much easier to get through contractions. So you can either just have somebody go to the base of your spine and just again press with your palm. Usually, if the most comfortable way to do this is for you to sit on a birthing ball and to lean forward on a bed, maybe with some pillows propped up so you're comfortable, have somebody sit behind you and just like really press. Or you can also access the pressure points. So if you go to the base of your spine, usually out on either side of your spine, about an inch and a half, you'll find some depressions, or whoever's working on your pressure points for you, and have them just press in with their thumbs or press their palms into those points. That can feel really, really good. So that's honestly, as a doula, the 2 main things I'm doing during birth. I'm breathing with the mom and I'm pressing on her lower back. Okay, changing positions. So it can be really easy to get stagnant energy in your hips, in your lower abdomen during birth. And so if you get into a position that's initially comfortable, great, but it will eventually become uncomfortable and it'll again create that stagnant energy. So about every 30 to 45 minutes, I recommend you change positions. And this is also a good time to go ahead and go pee. So go to the bathroom and then get into a new position. I have a video on this channel about really great positions during birth. But however, there's no wrong position. So you can just get into whatever position your body intuitively feels good about. But I also recommend watching that video. And so thinking about that stagnant energy in your hips, my next big pain relieving technique is doing hip swirls. Channel your inner belly dancer, because those hip swirls can really help to again get that energy moving. It can help to open your cervix, to relax your perineum. You can do this, standing up, holding on to your birth companion and swirling your hips. I really love doing it on a birthing ball because it's such a soft surface and it facilitates that swirling, and you can just envision that energy of your contractions swirling down, 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 concentrating in the cervix and helping that power go down, down, down to open the cervix to allow baby to come down and out. So if in doubt, swirl it out. All right, so the next one is surrendering to the contraction or surrendering to the surge. And I kind of sound like a crazy person saying this because it really goes against all of our instincts to surrender to foreign, uncomfortable sensations. Usually when we have foreign, uncomfortable sensations, what do? We go and seek treatment because usually it means that we're sick or we're hurt. But this is an incredibly rare situation where you want to be having those foreign, uncomfortable sensations, because that means that your body is doing exactly what it needs to do to birth your baby. So when you can open, release, just say, I surrender, you can say it in your head, I surrender to these surges. Really start focusing on that as you feel the surge coming on, breathing into it, just allowing your body to expand and accept the motions of your uterus as it pushes your baby down and out. What happens when we don't surrender, when we resist and we tighten up, is that the muscles in our uterus actually fight against one another, and this intensifies the pain, because hopefully, regardless of whether you're tensing up or not, your contractions are going to continue. So you're just going to be creating more pain if you tense up. So as much as possible, surrender, surrender, surrender. This might take some time. I'm not saying the first intense contraction you have, it's going to be no problem to just surrender to it, but keep focusing on that with each one you have, and it'll get easier and easier, and eventually, hopefully, you'll just get into a rhythm, a harmonic relationship with the surges, and you'll move through it. Number 6, using the bathroom regularly. So when our mind is processing all of the wild sensations of childbirth, it can be really hard for it to tune into signals from your bladder or your bowels that they need to be released. But if you have a full bladder, if you have full bowels, it's going to intensify the sensations. It's going to intensify the pain of childbirth. So have your birth companion or your doula set a timer for every 30-45 minutes to have you get up, go to the bathroom, sit on the toilet for a while, and see what happens. The great thing about being on the toilet during different phases of childbirth is that it sends your mind and your body the signal to open and release, which is exactly what we want during childbirth. If you feel like you do have to pee, but it's hard to release, I had the hardest time peeing during childbirth. It was awful, because I didn't know this tip. One thing you can do is drop a few drops of peppermint essential oil into the toilet bowl, and that can help stimulate the release of urine from your bladder. So if in doubt, use the bathroom. Number 7, get in warm water, as this tells your muscles to release, to relax, to open. Again, exactly what we want during childbirth. If you can't get into a tub, go ahead and sit in the shower. Because your legs can get a bit shaky during childbirth, make sure that there is a safe chair that you can sit in the shower. Just allow the water to wash over your back, your hips. This can really loosen things up. And as you have the water on you, whether you're in the tub or the shower, just envision that your body is as fluid as water, that it easily opens and moves in the rhythms of your surges, that it just fully surrenders to the experience. And next, speaking of water, envision that each sip of water or coconut water that you take is like liquid morphine. So as you take that sip, just envision all of these feel-good endorphins flowing through your body as you feel that cold liquid go down your throat. Just envision that it's bringing pain relief with it, that it's spreading that pain relief through your body, bringing about this wonderful, blissful, euphoric sensation. So again, each sip of water is like liquid morphine. Okay, pressing the pressure point L14. So this pressure point is between your index finger and your thumb. You can kind of play around until you find that sweet spot. And this helps with pain relief in your entire body. And the cool thing with this is it's empowering because you can do it on yourself. You don't have to rely on somebody else to hit that sweet spot and get the right pressure. You can start pressing on this pressure point whenever you're feeling discomfort. You can practice this during pregnancy. Anytime you're feeling uncomfortable, just go ahead and press on this until, again, you find your unique sweet spot with it. And finally, aromatherapy. I am a huge fan of aromatherapy, the power of essential oils. I especially like lavender oil during childbirth, as it signals the mind and the body to relax, to let go of anxiety. So as a doula, I always have an essential oil diffuser that I bring, and I keep the lavender going. If the mom needs like a pick-me-up, if she's in the pushing phase and she's getting really fatigued, I'll switch over to peppermint or orange oil. But when she's just going through active labor and just needing to relax and surrender, I know I keep saying that, but it's really important. During that phase, I give her a tissue with a few drops of lavender oil, and so she can get a really potent whiff of it and just hold it up to her nose as she feels the contraction coming on, takes a deep breath of it, and immediately gets the signal to just relax and release. So if you can think of any other amazing pain relieving tips that worked for you, help us out by leaving it in the comments below.